Good morning, everyone. It's May 29th, 2003. This morning I'd like to talk a little bit about Julie. She's been making a lot of progress since I've been first filming her since last fall, and since I've definitely known her since 2010, while she was still very much on the streets, and she's still on the streets today. But there's been a great improvement in her, and even the people that I'm dealing with within the community, with trying to improve the area here, with the association and that, have noticed a great deal of an improvement in Julie as well. So I'd like to talk a little bit about Julie. Now, from what I understand, she came from a pretty rough background. Both parents drank, so she didn't get much of a childhood where to learn things. And we talk about needing supports put into place, and these are the sort of things that I'm seeing that, for example, that Julie needs, and she's getting more support from me and some of the others in the community. She's had quite a rough life, getting pregnant very early at 19, and then losing, and then again a few years later and losing both her children. Thankfully, she didn't have any more children after that, but she's had it really rough. As she now is in her late 40s and realizing that she needs to settle down, and she's not in the party mood anymore. So, and she doesn't do drugs, and she doesn't do alcohol, which is really good. But she came from a dysfunctional family, and some of this, of course, was understandable because her grandmother also was full Blackfoot, her grandparents. And again, I believe part of this was and her mother, of course, being Blackfoot as well. I believe a lot of this came from the residential school scenario, where there was just no parenting skills produced in that. And of course, her father wasn't much better either, constantly drinking all the time and running around with all sorts of women. But she came out of it, and she's doing much better now. She's realizing the mistakes from the past. She and I have many discussions on some of the things that she has done in the past, and some of the things and the improvements that she's doing in her life right now, which is what I like to talk about. And what we're seeing down here, she's gained a lot more self-confidence doing the videos. It's one way that she can express herself and vent a bit. For example, her venting, as you can see in the last video that I did with Julie on the incident on the bus, where she was sort of assaulted, but everyone in the bus was kind of assaulted around her with the apple juice thrown on them, and we showed her how she had to properly report that, even to OC Transpo. So that was, she did it on her own. We just made sure she had the right phone numbers and the right information to give. She explained in the video. So she's pursuing that. And this particular guy is someone that she knows that's homeless, that's targeted her for about a year now, that bullies her. For example, some of the things that some of these other homeless people have done. There's a huge problem with bullying and harassment within the homeless community as well. She's had to suffer this, and she's understanding even more because people that she used to give money to or clothing to that she used to hand out, she's not doing that anymore. She's learning to set some boundaries for herself. But she's finding now, setting these boundaries, that she's getting harassed more, and she gets quite upset over it. And I have to explain, well, this is what the bullying really is about. I could do a whole segment possibly later on the bullying that's going on. But she's been able to set some boundaries. She's done really well in that when she gets frustrated, one of the things she does is she gets out of the area downtown, and she takes the bus out to a certain distance, and then she walks back downtown. So she's getting exercise, fresh air. Her appetite's good. She's feeling so much better about herself. So that's really good. And plus, the other thing is she's tried to apply for a small job. She's hoping she gets something. That's the first time she's got enough confidence to do that. And she's hoping to take a small course as well. So she's trying to get into taking a small course as well. So she's starting to take some baby steps forward, which is really wonderful to see, because I'm seeing, and we're seeing down here, how much happier she is. She's just bubbling over with enthusiasm. As I've taken her under my wing too, I'm able to show her things like there's so much that she didn't learn, like when she was with me, for example, when she looked after my apartment while I was in the hospital. Her problem was that she had no organizational skills. So when I came back from the hospital, it was like, okay, for example, where are my frying pans? Where are all my pots and pans? And I found them one day. Last place I expected to find them was in the stove. And apparently some people do keep pots and pans in the stove, but I have a whole cupboard I keep my pots and pans in. And little things, that was a bigger thing. And then little things like, of course, the silverware drawer. I have sections divided off for all the silverware. And my silverware drawer was all upside down. So the same thing when she tried to dust my shelves off, she had everything all disorganized from the way I keep it. So this is one of the things that the basic living skills, most of these people who are homeless don't even have, that really need someone to teach them the basic living skills. You know, and another simple thing is, for example, even just doing dishes. She doesn't know how to clean the dishes properly, and I have to redo them sometimes. But that's okay. But I remember myself, like most of us have had, like I had my mom and I had my dad and I had my beloved grandfather who I really just adored, so to grow up with. So that was wonderful to have. And, you know, my mom taught me how to do the dishes. And when I couldn't reach the kitchen sink, my dad simply built a little step stool. I remember it being red with a black top on it. And you'd stand on the stool and do the dishes. So these are things that we learned and we just take for granted today. Well, these people don't have these sorts of skills. You know, and then I say, oh, the Shepherds, well, all they want to do now is build the affordable housing. Well, that's great. They don't want to even have the shelter anymore. They want to get just building the affordable housing. This was very clearly stated to me in December the 8th, 2022, when the president of the Lower Town Association here in this other city man and I met for a meeting at that particular time. But if it's okay to go and build these affordable housing, but this is the problem. If all these people do not have the proper skills, and those that have the mental health issues and everything else don't have the proper supports in place, well, all you're going to do is just be building up an expensive ghetto, and that's what this place is going to look like, because they're building the I forget how many bed apartments right beside the Shepherds right now, and then they want to tear down the other building across the street and put a more higher tower up for affordable housing and get rid of the shelter. So unless you put the proper supports in place for these people, it's not going to work. But it's just beautiful to see Julie. She's just bubbling over. Now she wants to look better. She wants to get rid of some of her old clothes. She went out, for example, she bought some clothes, 2 or 3 tops. One of the tops is a bright colored top, a very bright colored top, and you can see in one of my videos. Well, she took it down to 454 to get it washed, as usual, and somebody stole that top on her, as well as, for some reason, her bra, too. But this is the other thing that these people have, that's all that they've been taught and learned, is, well, if you can't get it yourself, you steal it, unfortunately. And of course, the fights break out over the stealing and everything else. So this causes a lot of chaos, and I do not know why they cannot do laundry properly and make sure people have their laundry that they put in comes back to the people. But she's been making some really good leaps and bounds, and this weekend I took her to the Glebe garage sale with me, because I do a show there. I put out some of my native crafts as well. And so she helped me on the tables there, and she was just thrilled, and she got a chance to walk around. She started talking to people, and this is bringing a whole new world to her. So she's excited. She wants to get into this world. But she doesn't know quite fully how, but she's starting to. And with Julie, what she really needs right now is the affordable housing, because she has people around her for support that are doing whatever we can to help her. So this is a really big step forward for her, and I'm hoping that we can continue. And another thing she likes to do is sit and talk with me, and I say, well, come and talk with me. I'm ready to listen. I'll try and give you whatever advice that I can. So sometimes she comes over in the evenings and we sit and we chat. The other thing she loves to do is what I like to do in the evenings, and that's watch Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. So we've got into that, both of us. And she's got a grade 12 education at least, so she's not illiterate. So we'll be sitting there trying to figure out the puzzles and trying to having so much fun doing it. So for the first time, she's having a lot of fun, and we're very pleased to see. And I know I'm happy to see the progress that she's making. So this is what I want to talk about. Just a short video on how Julie's doing and what we're seeing. And again, everyone, have a nice day. And again, I will be back to talk to you soon again. And thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.